Good morning. You're in the loop. Every week we talk with the people who make San Antonio a better place to live. Thanks for joining us in the loop. Here's your host, Milton Glick.
And welcome to In the Loop. I'm Milton Glick, and that's exactly what we do. We get you caught up with the people, the organizations that are making San Antonio a better place to live. I'm excited about today's show. Our guest is going to be Daphney Morgan. She's with Clarity Child Guidance Center, and we're going to talk about a unique program they have that's absolutely amazing. And we're both going to, both you and I, the listener and I, are going to learn more about it today as we talk to Daphney. Hi, Daphney. Welcome to In the Loop. How are you doing?
Hi, I'm well. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Okay. So the program is part of Clarity Child Guidance Center. Do you mind just kind of talking about Clarity a little bit and what their role in San Antonio is? And then that'll make perfect sense as to how this fits into that.
Sure, of course. So Clarity Child Guidance Center is the only nonprofit in South Texas providing a continuum of mental health services for children ages 3 to 17. And we're adding a new treatment focused specifically on at-risk youth with intensive needs, and that's this MST program.
Yeah, and MST stands for?
Right, Multisystemic Therapy.
Okay, so how did this come about? Well, let's do this real quick, too. So when you say at-risk, tell me what that means.
Right, so that could be a variety of different issues that they might be facing. They're at risk of expulsion from school, being removed from homes, maybe committed some offenses, have some serious mental health concerns.
Yeah, and this program, I mean, as I read more and more, I mean, it's a life changer for the families, grandparents, parents, families, and for these kids as well. Is that accurate?
Yes, very much so.
All right. Yeah. Well, talk a little bit about the program and how did it come about? I understand it's kind of is it a grant from the Center for Healthcare Services?
It is. So Clarity was chosen as a service provider for MST by the Center for Healthcare Services that received a grant from Texas Health and Human Services for the program.
Okay. Just out of curiosity, what was it that shined about Clarity? Do you know, or did they say?
Sure. So our biggest goal of this project is to improve Bexar County's family preservation and reduce the CPS resource need and relieve the severe shortage of children and adolescent psychiatric beds with alternative programs.
Okay. So talk a little bit about the program and kind of how it all works. So you told us a little bit about who it was at risk, and you defined that a little bit. But what are the elements of it that make it so unique and actually, and I'm guessing very successful?
Yes. So multisystemic therapy is a proven family and community-based treatment, again, for the ages of 12 to 17 with intensive needs. It's proven most effective for treating the youth that are, again, at risk of being removed from home. So the program has specifically trained therapists who provide intensive treatment, usually in the home, school, and community of the youth, with focusing heavily on the involvement of parents and other caregivers. So there's a team of therapists. So we'll have a team of 7 and a supervisor as well that will work with these families. They have very small caseloads. The average length of treatment is between 3 and 5 months. And these team members remain on call and are available 24 hours a day to help the young person and the family cope with various stressors that may come up.
I've got a weird question for you. How does it work if the person who's going through treatment perceives the family as a stressor?
Yes, so that's probably pretty common. So, a lot of it is then the focus would be with the family system and just helping with those types of stressors, the communication, also maybe with the caregiver using different types of techniques in order to help understand these different perspectives and other strategies to maybe manage, what might be causing those stressors and how to improve them.
What are some other stressors that you see? How many folks have been through it so far? I know it's new for Clarity. Or maybe it's even how many people are going through it right now at Clarity.
Right. So the This program hasn't started yet. In fact,
Okay.
we'll start receiving referrals within the next couple of weeks. We'll have a link on our website, but so I don't have any numbers in regards to our team necessarily, but I know MST is very, it's done really well as a program itself, and other agencies. There are other teams out there that have great numbers that speak to their validity.
Let's talk occasionally when we get into issues like this. We'll talk a little bit about helping our audience to understand kind of what's going on. Now, you've mentioned the at risk and stuff, but paint a picture of what someone who participates in the program is kind of facing. What are they going through? What are the challenges that I mean, I am guessing that you probably see lots of different cases, but maybe there's an umbrella or an underlying situation in each one. Does that make sense?
Sure. So what makes our program, I think, unique too out of the other teams, the MST teams, is that we're really trying to address within Bexar County where families struggle to maintain services on an outpatient basis when they have such intense needs. And by intense needs, I guess I mean that there are a lot of mental health issues that they aren't able to address within the acute setting. So we may stabilize the child, but when they return back to their environment, there's not that intense support for the parents and for the children in school systems and in other areas that then create a problem to where then they feel like they're in and out of hospitals or they're not receiving what they need in a more long-term basis. So this program, we're hoping speaks to that and will provide that those services instead of that gap that exists currently in order to help kind of maintain and also establish these kinds of skills for the families and just information maybe too for the schools that might help as well improve their participation in that setting as well.
So it sounds like it's really becomes a team effort to help the individual.
Yes. Definitely.
Yeah, between I guess the school, the family, the child. Yeah. I was going to ask you, and I'm blanking for a second, but let's talk a little bit about. So the program is going to start soon. You mentioned referrals. How does someone get involved in the program?
Sure. So referrals can come from anyone. It can come from the family. It can come from a teacher at school. It could come from a probation officer. So they're identifying the youth or a family that might benefit from, or if they feel they may benefit from these services, they would go to our website and be able to navigate there the referral form that gives some more information about this program and if they qualify or not. And if they don't, then we definitely help also with providing some resources to find them the appropriate care.
All right. So, I guess the next question is sort of how do they find out about it? And what okay, so from a probation officer standpoint, maybe from a teacher standpoint, they may know that a child needs help. Is there certain criteria they would look for, certain things that would say, hey, you know what, I just heard about this great program on this radio station. I think you're a candidate for that. Are there certain things they would see?
Yeah, just if they know that one major qualifier would be if they're, again, at risk for out-of-home placement. So in the probation sense, if they continue to violate, but, maybe there are other issues going on within the home that the family is just not able to address. And so then that might be, an appropriate referral. Go
ahead.
Mm-hmm.
No, you go ahead.
Oh, go. Okay. Just if they... if they're seeing truancy, if they have any other kind of, behaviors, I guess, that you can kind of identify that would be addressed as goals that they can respond to in this program. Okay.
And just out of curiosity, again, could a parent that was, let's address that. So would a parent like maybe if they hear this and go, you know what? Okay, yeah, there is truancy, there is this. Would they just call Clarity and say, hey, you know what? I think I heard about your program. I'd like to talk with somebody and learn if this would be something that would help us. Would they just call you guys?
Yes, yeah, they can definitely call us. We can talk more specifically about concerns that they have and give them information again that might help them understand the program. Since it is very involved with the family, they would be also committing to that idea, right, to participate in that as a continued service.
Is it difficult for families to reach out and ask for help?
I imagine it can be, yes, for some that maybe don't know where to go or what to do. But we're definitely here and welcoming. I've seen a lot of families that feel like they've tried everything and they don't know where else to go, and they've, exhausted maybe other resources that have been given. And so sometimes in those cases too, that a program like this might be helpful to see if that would be another, avenue for them.
Our guest today on In the Loop is Daphney Morgan. She is, and tell me if I'm getting her title right, Assistant Program Director for Inpatient Services and the Program Manager for Clarity's new MST program. And we're talking a little bit about both. What else do we need to know about the MST? And then I'll switch to just Clarity in general so folks can find out what the challenges is going on here in San Antonio with the people that Clarity helps.
Yeah, I guess I could speak more to the program itself.
Okay.
You had asked about successes. I can maybe give some more information about their
Love that.
evidence-based program. Yeah.
So you start where you'd like to start.
Okay, thank you. So this evidence-based program empowers parents and caregivers to regain control of, again, the out-of-control youth behaviors that are identified to help them function responsibly, over the long term. So in 2023, the Texas MST program that served 23 youth exceeded some target outcome goals, such as 100% remained in the home, 100% of no new arrests within treatment, and 93.75 remained in school and or employed. I think that they have very high rates for the reason that they are very structured in their approach. So again, the referral process is important to identify what the goals are from each source. So if it's a parent calling in, they might have a specific goal in mind. I'm having a difficult time keeping them at home. They're running away often. And so that's one of the identified behaviors that will be addressed. And then there's a process that the therapist will go through with the family. And it's just very joined as to how to take those steps and monitoring that progress throughout their stay within that program.
Talking to, Daphney Morgan. She is, we're talking about the MST program. She's the MST program manager at Clarity. And it really is a fascinating thing. Those statistics are pretty overwhelmingly good when you're talking about 100%. How long has it been going on? I know Clarity hasn't started it yet, and will start pretty soon, within the next month. Is that right? Did I remember correctly?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
But other parts of the nation are doing it too. How long have they been doing it?
That is a good question.
Okay.
I don't have their specific information about how far it goes back to. I do know that they did step up just this idea of expanding their program, especially when the pandemic hit.
Okay.
Just when there was that, surge of need within the communities all over the United States, but they are also, not only statewide, but they also, are within other countries as well. So definitely a really neat program that's growing and expanding.
Well, let's do this too, Daphney, if you don't mind. Do you... if folks want more information, where should they go right now to get more information on this?
Yes. Let me get that information to you, because I know we are updating our website to include MST information, the Multisystemic Therapy. But as of right now, I would have to get you a link for that.
Okay. So now, basically, would it just be the best to go to the website, get the phone number, and call in and say, well, I heard the program. I know it's just starting. in San Antonio, but I'd like to be on the list or, to get more when it starts. Is that a good?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, we'll go with that. And the number for clarity?
Yes, it's 210-582-6484.
Okay. And talk
And
a
they
little.
can call
No,
they
you
can
go.
also call 210-616-0300 for our 24/7 line.
Yeah, and that's what's very cool about Clarity. Talk a little bit about them. Clarity is just an amazing organization in San Antonio with a number of different programs. I know you talked about it a little bit, but talk a little bit again, just one more time. What is the mission of Clarity?
Right. So our mission is to support children and families in their pursuit of mental wellness. Um, we really work hard to encompass our values of compassion, respect, integrity, accountability, and dignity. We were founded in 1886. We're the only nonprofit in South Texas providing a continuum of mental health services for children 3 to 17 and their families.
And you mentioned, well, I'll jump to that in a second, but what are some of the challenges facing the people that Clarity helps? I know like depression. Well, I'll let you tell us.
Sure. Yeah, variety. Depression, anxiety, suicidal ideation, bipolar disorder, schizophrenia.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot going on, and is my understanding correct that there really aren't a lot of things. First off, for mental health in general, um, there seems to be a shortage as compared to the need, but especially for children, especially for the folks that Clarity serves.
Yes, very much so. Yes. So we do have a variety of services. I mentioned,
Mm-hmm.
I'm an inpatient mostly, so I do see a lot within the community as well, and I hear from families. Just trying to maintain outpatient appointments and provider services can be challenging. We do have that as well within our organization for outpatient services, and we have a day program as well for those kids that are maybe not acutely at need, but still need some more intensive services before going back to a normal routine of school, but that they maintain going back home with the day program.
Yeah, and so those are folks that are inpatient and stay there, right,
Yes, so
for a
there's
certain amount
inpatient,
of
and the
time.
day program that I'm mentioning
Yeah.
is more of kind of school hours, so Monday through Friday, 8 to 3, where
Oh,
they still
okay.
see a psychiatrist and therapist and have programming throughout the day.
Okay. And some of the issues like you talked about, but there really are a lot of different challenges out there that make those issues more, I guess, a little stronger, a little more prevalent. What's facing these kids that Clarity serves? I mean, is it you hear about social media, you hear about peer
Yes.
pressure? What are some of the things that are facing them?
Sure, there is a lot, as you had mentioned, a lot of times surrounding the school system. So having to go to school, being around peers, the social media for sure. Um, just kind of also family stressors, and I think sometimes even the political climate can be something that the kids are
Hmm.
responsive to, and then could create stress, and that they might need some support in navigating those kinds of stressors as well.
For these kids that you help, does is the longer a family waits, the more challenging it becomes to help. I mean, I know they shouldn't. I know that if they're hearing this and they think there's a problem, they should call now. But I am
Sure.
guessing the two that they, oh, this is a phase. All kids go through this. There's probably excuses because I know because of the stigma with mental health that people don't
Hmm.
want to say, "Oh, my child has a mental health problem." But I imagine that this can be like a domino effect.
Yes, definitely can be. Yeah, I think it's definitely important to just kind of be more aware, and as you said, maybe not as dismissive whenever there are things that maybe come up or that you might have curiosity or questions about that could be assessed. And again, it doesn't mean that they have to come and be inpatient, but I think we have also a variety of services that families could benefit from. That parents, might want some more information about their child. Hey, I've noticed this, and having our First Step Center, which again provides assessment tools for a family to kind of, again, navigate their specific needs and direct them to where they might be at an appropriate level of care, whether it be a psychiatrist or a therapist or a psychologist.
Do most of the referrals for clarity in general come from parents, come from the family?
There's a good amount from the family.
Okay.
There's a lot from the school as well.
Okay. So
Mhm.
how does a teacher who's listening to this approach the family when they see that there's a problem? Because it's my personality, but that would just seem so awkward to
Yes,
do that.
yeah, that might be difficult. Yeah, so a lot of the school referrals we get are from either teacher observations or something that they've witnessed that can be of concern, and they do document using a referral form of some sort, or notify the parents, hey, we've noticed this. It's worth going to. A hospital, children's hospital, to look at what kind of steps you might need to take, or just to make sure everything's all right.
Just out of curiosity, we'll talk about that's why I brought up the family, because I wanted to talk a little bit. What do families tell you about what the journey was like, starting from bringing their child to clarity, or maybe even from picking up the phone to find out to maybe to their child being, released and in a better place? Do they kind of tell you? They give you a little overview of how it all went? I'm sure they do. I'm sure they feel very happy that they made it.
Yes, yeah. So some definitely do. I think the journey can be a variety of different feelings for sure. It can be very scary, just because also parents don't know kind of what to expect or what's going on, and so through the process of learning more about what some of these symptoms are, and then the services available to them, and also just kind of validating that this is, just trying to dispel the stigma as well, that this is a lot more common than a lot of parents might think that parents have to go through, or that children are going through in this moment, and so that they're not alone either. And so that's important as well.
Yeah, and I do imagine that some people, this comes up occasionally, do tell you that I don't know why I didn't come to clarity sooner. This was great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, let's do this. We've still got a little bit of time left. I want to make sure I covered everything. Was there anything else that you wanted to bring up?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I think you've covered a lot. I know we kind of ran through a lot of information, so anything that I need to slow down on, or that
You're
I can
doing just fine.
clarify would be great.
No, you're doing great. The other question I have is, we always ask how our listeners can get involved. How can our listeners help Clarity? I know there are fundraisers, so you can talk about those, but also volunteer opportunities. Maybe it's even if you see a family. Well, we'll talk about that. What opportunities are there?
Yeah, definitely. So we do encourage the volunteering. We have a couple of different things within our team that we do. One's called Food for the Soul. The other one is just Bridging the Gap, so helping by organizing donation drives. Hygiene products for kids and families is helpful as well. And all that is also on our website. You can give us a call as well if you're interested in any of those programs and speak more to our marketing and development team.
If I was going to ask too, does it ever happen that, let's say it's a church family, so they're going to church and they see this child that really seems to be suffering, and they want to help them. How do they talk? How do you suggest they talk to the parents and say, "Hey, I see Freddie just looks this way, and I know of this place. I don't know. You tell me. How do you reach out to help?"
Yeah, I think just being present in life and showing that interest, providing that information of additional resources within the community that the family can reach out to, maybe even just kind of giving information about Clarity itself or our organization might help them identify something that would be of interest to them, or that they would be willing to pursue. We also, have a variety of programs with like group therapy that can be helpful for youth. That kind of makes me think about like within the church community. A lot of times, kids are just trying to connect in healthy ways and try to get information, build skills. So we have that opportunity as well within our outpatient services at times, and so that might be another, service and also a way to reach out and connect with that youth.
I have a weird question. We talked about families calling in to ask questions about their child. Could a church family member or just a neighbor who sees something, could they call and just say, hey, I see this. I know the family's going through a tough time. I'd like to help. What can I do?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, they would. So that would work just as well. And what would happen is in that referral process, it would be more of that conversation again to say, as a community approach, which would the church or the other member that is calling in would also be a part of that goal setting. And, if they are willing to participate in the multisystemic therapy program, then they would also be a great vital role as a support. It's a very strengths-based program, the MST program, and so the more community members involved that can also help this child and the family is more than welcome.
The website to go to, we've run out of time, Daphney. I appreciate it. Daphney Morgan is our guest today, and we've been talking about Clarity Child Guidance Center. The website, claritycgc.org. And do me a favor, Daphney, give out the phone numbers again.
Sure. My number is 210-616-0300, and you can also call 210-582-6484 for those MST referrals. All
righty. We'll say goodbye for today. Thank you to Daphney Morgan. She is the program manager for the MST program at Clarity Child Guidance Center and the assistant program director for inpatient services. If you didn't get some of those numbers, I'm Milton Glick. You call me here at the station, I will get them for you. We'll say goodbye for today. You join us next week as we keep you in the loop.
Thanks for joining us in the Loop. We look forward to bringing you next week's show with Milton Glick.